Hi Aradhya ma'am, it's such an honor कि मैं आपका host कर पा रही हूँ. All the students are waiting for you. I know they are going to be extremely excited to see Aradhya ma'am talk about her own battles with IPMAT. Correct?
I'm
Do you
feeling,
agree?
I'm feeling very flattered. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
Okay, so can you walk me through the morning of your exam? What were your rituals, habits, or routines that you followed?
Aha. So we're referring to the written IPMAT exam, right?
Yes.
So in 2015, the exam was on 15th of May, and I had gone to New Delhi to give the exam along with my father. And unfortunately, I had something to eat the night before, chola kulcha, if I remember, and I fell sick the previous night. So the morning of my exam was very sad and disappointing for me, and I was just praying to God so that I can get through somehow. And I really didn't expect to crack the exam, to be very honest, but somehow I did. And now that I reflect on that day, all these years down the line, I reflect upon my preparation. So I see that there were a lot of strategies, techniques that I was using, which helped me crack the exam in actually pretty adverse circumstances. And I take very special sessions for the kids, mentoring sessions and strategy building sessions for children of IPM careers to teach them those strategies. And that's one of my favorite parts of being at IPM careers.
Correct, correct. So you did have some unexpected encounters and you had to deal with them whatsoever, correct?
Yeah.
So how was that? How did you actually deal with it? When you were in the exam center, how do you remember that you had to phase out that food poisoning wala system and everything? How did you do that? How does that strength come?
Sure. So the strength lies in preparation. And because I had put my heart and soul in preparing for IPMAT, and I had thoroughly enjoyed the journey also, what happened was during the exam, I could very well notice myself slowing down. It because I was dizzy. My stomach was paining, my head was paining. So I was dizzy, I was feverish. So I noticed that it's taking me a lot of time to read the questions. A lot of time, as in comparatively a lot more time to read the questions than I used to take before during my mocks. And of course, if I'm taking so much time in reading, I'm going to take more time in solving the questions.
Correct.
And in the end, I remember there were around 8 to 9 questions that I couldn't attempt, and I was very sad about that. Later on, I realized, many years later actually, I realized that because my preparation was so strong and I had built much more speed than what the exam required. Like if the exam required me to do 100 questions in 100 minutes, I had the capability to do 130 questions in 100 minutes. I had built that consciously on purpose.
Yeah.
I wanted to be better.
Yes.
I wanted to be better than that. So the strength lies in preparation. And even though I slowed down a lot that day compared to my usual, I was still able to make it because I was already ahead of the curve. So this is what I tell my students.
What was your time management technique? Because it's about sectional time management and all. So what happened when you thought ki yaar, I am slowing down? Then what did you do? Like when you thought that you were slowing down, at that moment of time, you did not know that you were actually faster than others.
Yeah.
But then at that particular moment when you thought that you were slowing down, how did you manage the time? How did you manage that? Yes, I have to do something in a particular amount of frame of time.
Yes. So I have always followed this technique of taking the first 1 to 2 minutes to go through the paper. I always go through the paper and I always mark the questions that look easy to me.
Yeah.
And I always do them first. I never go by an order. I never start solving the paper from the first question or the last question or anything like that. I go through the paper. It may take me a minute or two extra, but then I can afford that because I'm already pretty good with my speed. So I can afford that. And I mark the easy questions for review. I do them first. Solving easy questions is like an energy boost. They make you happy. In the middle of an exam, if you solve a question and you get an answer pretty quickly, it makes you very happy. It motivates you and energizes you for the rest of the exam. So it kind of energized me to face the difficult questions later on. So this has always been my strategy. So I think this helped me during the exam as well.
Changing the subject totally to IPMAT preparation, was there any point when you thought that I need to give up? It is too hard for me. And what kept you going on? Like, obviously, you gave the exam, you cracked it, you went to IIM Indore and everything. So there was something that had motivated you even after you wanted to give up. So what was that?
Actually, I never felt like giving up. And the reason was that I was not preparing for IPMAT because someone had told me to, or because because I would get a fancy salary package at the end of it, or because CAT is difficult, let me get into an IIM straight away. I didn't have any of these reasons because it was a very intrinsic motivation for me to prepare for IPMAT. I loved the IPM course. I loved the curriculum, and I was intrinsically motivated. I never felt like giving up. And I enjoyed the preparation, as I said. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And there came a point when the result really stopped mattering to me. I felt like even if I didn't get through, I will never regret it because it's been such a beautiful journey. So I think this is later on, many years later, I realized that this is maybe called the flow state. When you stop worrying about results, when you start enjoying the journey, and this is how things should be.
Yes,
i
I
I
agree.
am not very perfect, and I don't apply this to all aspects of my life, but I really try to. I wish I did.
Correct. That is what also happened with me. I was not a very studious kind of a person, but then when it came to a certain exam, when it came to a certain subject, I did extremely well, and my parents were like shocked कि ये चिया का result है. So yes, that happens when you do something with utmost passion and something that you actually want to do. It will
Yes.
figure out its own way into your life. That's what I feel. Yeah, that's correct. So, how did you deal with like peer pressure, comparison, or a basic feeling of failure during your preparation? Because I have seen many students like they stop being studious, they stop studying just because they wanted to have fun or be accepted in a group of people, or because their parents told them that देखो उनका बेटा तो ऐसा कर रहा है, उनकी बेटी तो वैसे कर रही है. तो ये सब problems बहुत ज्यादा मैंने students में देखी है. So how did you deal with it? Did you ever face it in the first place?
You know, I remember during my school days, I used to fall prey to comparison very easily. मुझे
Yes.
बहुत जल्दी बुरा लग जाता था अगर मेरे साथ के बच्चे कुछ बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं और आके मुझे लोग बता रहे हैं या मेरे पेरेंट्स ही मुझे कंपेयर कर रहे हैं तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता था. I was among those students.
Yes.
During IPMAT preparation, to be very honest, I had taken a drop, so my social circle had become very limited anyways. Also, I did not take a coaching. I self-prepared for IPMAT, which further limited my social contacts, and
Correct.
and there was no social media. This is 2015. So, but yes, there were neighbors, there were relatives, and there were people around who did question and contrast and compare. So I just stopped listening to them because the preparation itself was so enjoyable for me as an experience. I just chose to focus on that rather than looking at what is happening around me. I believe I don't think it has something to do with me or my greatness.
Correct.
It just has to do with the power of attraction of that
Particular examination.
yes,
The
because
thrill, the thrill
exactly,
of it.
exactly.
I get it. Everyone
Yeah.
has faced it, but not exactly in the same place that you have. What role did your family or anyone, mentors or anything, what role did they play in your like life for
Sure.
IPMAT?
Sure. I'm a first generation IIM graduate,
Okay.
and I also am the eldest in my family. All my siblings are younger to me.
Okay.
So I had my parents, out of which my mom was very supportive,
Yeah.
and my dad still wished I had done IIT JEE. He wished that till I got my results and I made it to IIM. Then he was very happy. But up until before that, he did question my choice of going for IPMAT and CLAT. I prepared for law and IPMAT. I gave up JEE 3 months before the JEE mains exam. I prepared for JEE for 3 years. I took a coaching, proper formal coaching, but then I took this decision to not prepare for JEE and give CLAT and IPMAT instead. So this was not looked upon very favorably by a lot of people in my family and my teachers, and as I said, my relatives and all. So
Accept something new is very difficult, especially for relatives.
I think they felt, see, they all loved me and they all came from a very good place in their heart. So they just felt like it was too big a risk that I was taking.
Yes.
They felt it's rash and uncalculated. But to be very honest, before switching from JEE to CLAT, I actually attempted previous year question papers of CLAT and I did pretty well. That is why that is when I finally decided that, okay, I have 3 months and I can do it. It's not completely rash. That is when I switched. So, but my mom was very supportive throughout. So I would give that credit to her.
That's crazy. So after the examination, how were you feeling? Were you confident? Were you nervous? Were you clueless? How were you feeling?
I was very sad because I had left 8 to 9 questions unattempted, as I said, because I had slowed down during the exam. So during mocks, if I left a question, it was out of choice. But
Yes.
never did I leave a question because of paucity of time.
Correct.
So,
मजबूरी में नहीं छोड़ा था कभी भी.
बट यहाँ पे टाइम कम होने की वजह से मेरे 8-9 क्वेश्चन छूट गए, तो मुझे बहुत ही बुरा बहुत दुखी थी मैं, बहुत दिन तक बहुत दुखी थी. इनफैक्ट जब रिजल्ट आया So I didn't want to check the result. I said, anyways, I'm not getting in. What is the use? But my dad said, okay, just take a look. And I was very surprised to see that I had gotten through. And when I went on campus after clearing the interview, when I went to campus and our batchmates were discussing with one another how much each of them had scored. There was no ranking system at that time, no AIR, All India rank or anything. So we were discussing how much we had scored. So my score was pretty above average. I mean, I was above half the class. So it was a pretty good score actually. But I didn't, yeah.
What did you do differently for personal interview? Like how did your pace of thought process changed for personal interview?
Okay. So when I think by 30th May, the results were out and I started preparing for interview. My interview was on 12th of June, again, New Delhi. So I'm from Kanpur, by the way, born and brought up. So I traveled to New Delhi for the interview. Actually, to be honest,
You
not much
didn't have
preparation.
chola kulcha again.
Sorry?
I hope you did not have chola kulcha again.
Oh God. No, not never. I never do that now before any important event. And I advise that to all my students as well.
Yeah.
So for interviews, actually not much preparation is required. Uh, this might be contrary to popular belief, but I think that an interview is just about who you are. So all you need to do is sit, reflect, gather yourself, gather all the pieces, all the evidences, all the certificates, and everything that makes you who you are. Just sit, reflect, pick yourself up, and draft a few beautiful answers based on how you would like to present yourself. Draft as many answers as possible, anticipate what all can they ask about you, and write it down for your clarity.
Yes.
And revise your academics, of course, revise your academics and whatever you like. If, for example, I loved reading the newspaper at that time. So it was kind of my hobby, passion, whatever you call it. So, and I had not read newspapers since the last 30 days because I was busy preparing and giving exams. So before 12th of June, I sat with a pile of 30, 40 newspapers and I read each and every one of them. So that on the day, on 12th of June, I knew everything that could be that someone could have known about what all was happening around me.
And even on the contrary, what I thought was I hated reading a newspaper. मतलब newspaper ना पढ़ना पड़े इसलिए I used to like not wake up in the morning and tell my parents कि नहीं अभी नहीं थोड़ा और सोने दो because newspaper पढ़ना पड़ेगा. तो I always tell students कि pile up नहीं होना चाहिए. Keep reading the newspaper. Basic चीजों के बारे में पता होना चाहिए. Opinions को कैसे एक particular word में आप refer कर सकते हो वो पता होना चाहिए. What words are extreme, what you cannot use, ये पता होना चाहिए. So I tell them that what you are saying, I say the same thing. But I am 100% sure कि हमारे कुछ भी बोलने से ये लोग मानते नहीं है. तो obviously अब इनको बहुत सारा newspaper पढ़ना पड़ेगा to be ready for that also. है ना? Okay.
Yes.
So any tips कि अगर कोई एक unexpected question आ जाए, by mistake एक बहुत ही unexpected question आ गया है जो आप सोच ही नहीं सकते थे कि कोई इंटरव्यूअर कभी भी पूछ सकता है, maybe about an injury, maybe about something, तो उसके लिए what how should be the approach of a person? देखिए जैसे मैंने कई बार देखा है जब भी कोई इंटरव्यू के लिए तैयार कर रहा होता है अपने आप को तो वो मॉक ड्रिल्स की तरह अपने आप को तैयार करते हैं. तो वो क्या होता है कि जब भी कोई भी क्वेश्चन आता है चाहे वो कितना भी सिंपल क्यों ना हो लेकिन दे ओवर सेल देयर आंसर. So how do you stop that? Because at that moment of time when you're giving an interview, you want to oversell yourself. So how do you keep yourself from doing that?
See, I believe that we need to own our stories, own our narratives.
Correct.
Where we come from, what we have been through, our decisions, our choices. Maybe we didn't score a 90% in class 10th. Maybe we didn't score very well in class 12th. Maybe we took science, but we wished we had taken commerce. Whatever. Everybody has their, everybody has things they wished would have happened differently in life, but they didn't. So own it.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake, own it. If you are I don't know, no matter how you feel about your life, you need to own each and every part of it. No matter how you feel about your personality, you need to own each and every part of it. And then only will you be able to enter into a room with 100% confidence.
Correct.
If you have accepted yourself and if you have confidence, there is no need to undersell or oversell.
That's true.
All of this exaggeration or lying or manipulation comes from a place of fear or doubt about oneself.
Insecurity. I think
exactly.
It's a lot of insecurity.
Exactly. So when we prepare students for interview, our focus is on helping them accept each and every part of themselves and be proud of what they have achieved so far. Maybe they wanted to achieve 10 things and they ended up achieving 6, but still be proud of that and happy about that. So this is what we try to, this is how we work with students in the time duration that we have to prepare them for the interview. बाकी पढ़ाई लिखाई तो सब वो कर ही चुके हैं, सर्टिफिकेट्स उनके पास आ ही चुके हैं, जो करना था, जो बनना था, बन चुके हैं,
हो चुका है, अब चेंज नहीं कर
हाँ,
सकते।
आपको चेंज नहीं होना है 15 दिन में। बस प्रैक्टिस करते रहो, मॉक्स देते रहो, और अपने अपने आप वर्क विद योरसेल्फ, सिट विद योरसेल्फ, स्पेंड टाइम विद योरसेल्फ, रिफ्लेक्ट एंड love yourself. That's what we teach students.
Now, let's leave these very boring, sensational talks that is actually important for students, and let's talk about things that they actually enjoy.
Okay.
So, how was your experience? What surprised you the most about IIM Indore?
What surprised me?
Like, there must be some surprises. You must have thought something about something, and then it turned out to be something.
IIM Indore actually turned out to be my dream college. It before IIM Indore, the only college I had ever seen was IIT Kanpur.
Yeah.
My nana used to work in Kanpur, so my nani's house was in IIT itself. My nana was in IIT, so I used to go there very frequently. So that was the only college I had seen. And when I went to IIM Indore, it was so good in every sense. Hostels are world class, amenities are world class, washrooms are world class, and the campus is very beautifully situated on a hill, beautiful sunrise, sunsets, and an amazing amount of exposure. We had events happening almost every day. We had something or the other lined up every day. We had CEOs coming down. We had some celebrities coming down for a talk, for a lecture, this, that, fests, clubs, committees. It turned out to be my dream college. And IPM, I had felt that this is a world-class course. It's a very unique course. When I saw the curriculum, I fell in love with it at the first sight. But when I went and experienced it, it actually did turn out to be a world-class course. And I used to look forward to Mondays, and I used to look forward to classes and look forward to getting up in the morning. I have lived 5 years in a flow at IIM Indore. So all good surprises. If these are to be termed surprises, then all good surprises were there.
So, which one was much more appreciated? And even in the market right now, the career opportunities and everything, which is more appreciated, which is more like known, CAT or IPMAT?
Of course, CAT is more known. There are many more candidates who give CAT, and it's widely known. IPMAT is now making its way to the masses, and I believe there are still many people who would not know about it. So there is no doubt about it. CAT is more widely known.
So now we are going to just do 3 questions, which are very, very fun, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And these 3 questions are to be answered in just one word, okay? So if there was a film that you can assign to your journey at IIM Indore, which film would it be? You can think about it.
I'm not much into films, actually. See, I'm trying to remember something very youthful, fun. Rang De Basanti is coming to my mind, but we were not martyred.
Yes, correct, correct.
Just the fun part of Rang De Basanti.
Rang De Basanti, yes, okay. And which movie would you like to assign for your IPMAT preparation?
Oh, IPMAT preparation. Queen.
Queen? Wow, that's crazy. And if you have to give like just one statement for your students to remember while they're taking that exam tomorrow, what statement would you like to give?
Whatever happens for the best.
That's crazy. That's the most important thing that students want to hear, because अभी जो भी बिगड़ सकता है वो सिर्फ overthinking और anxiety से ही बिगड़ सकता है. And I hope you don't get any anxiety, you don't overthink a lot, and you actually crack it.
Yes.
Me and Aradhya ma'am are going to see you soon. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.